Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the other side. I'm so happy you came back. I hope you have subscribed and liked our last episodes, and I hope you come back for more. Well, you are back for more, so that's a good sign. Today, I have my good friend Melinda Estrada, the Lone Whisperer. She is with Lending Enterprises out of Whittier, California. And like I've told you before, I did not want my podcast to be about business. So it's not, but I can't help who I meet in my industry. So today I brought her to give you some great news. I know I told you that I was going to bring you some helpful tips and, ideas on how to better your life moving forward. I've given you some great stories in the past. I hope you've enjoyed. And I just want to start by introducing Melinda.
Hi,
Say
Anita.
hello,
Yay.
hello.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. I'm so excited to have
Me
you.
too. Me too.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
do want to let them know how we met. Melinda's been a great supporter of mine. As you know, I'm a big advocate for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and she has donated quite a bit of money because she does have her own story when it comes to that. So I don't want to get too much into the story, but I do want her to share a little bit about her past, and so you can understand what gives her the information to help you move forward in the future. And but before I start, Melinda, I do want to no, go ahead. Let's start with this story. Let's start with
Sure,
this.
sure. And this is the story of how or why I decided to donate to your cause.
Correct.
How, because we met previously, and when you told me about your cause, I was very interested, and I feel that it's very important.
Yes.
What I shared with you before was my daughter had the suicidal attempts, and it was
Mhm.
more than one, it was multiple times. And as a mom or a parent, of course, I'm a mom,
Yes.
I had no idea what to do. I had no idea what to do. And I thought that if I could help by donating to get the awareness out,
Yes.
and yes, for our children, our friends, I mean, our spouses, everybody
Mhm.
really. However, that is the biggest thing, but there's also the family around them.
Yes.
My daughter came to me and she said, "I need help," but she was looking to me for the help, and
Yes.
I had no idea what to do, and she wanted me to be the counselor and me to bring her up and me to I said, "Honey, this is not what I do. I
Mm.
can only love you the way I know how to love you." And when you introduced your cause to me, I wanted to help these parents and these mothers to be able to be that source
Yes.
when our children come to
Or
us.
find the resources for
Yes, yes. Find the resource
yes.
because I'm still not that person. I can only love her and let her know that I'm there for her. However, I'm not that resource. That's not
Right?
my
Yeah.
specialty.
Yeah. You're not a
I'm
counselor.
not a counselor. I'm
You're
not a
not an MD.
counselor. And so that was really important to me. And, she tells me to, she's better now.
Mhm.
She's better now. But we went through the whole thing
Yeah.
with at least 5 times, the ambulance. And, there was even a point where she was in the 5150 hold,
Yeah.
right? That's where
Oh, yeah.
that's where it's at,
Mhm.
the
Where they hold them for
where they
7
hold them.
days and then or
And
14.
yes, I think it was 72 hours for her, and she preferred to stay there,
She
She did
did.
because it
Okay.
was a bit much to be here, and they still let her out. She says, "I'm not ready to leave."
Oh.
And I didn't know what to do. So, of course, she came home, took a bottle,
Oh, wow.
pills, and just waited for the ambulance. So, it's important to know what to do, how to
Mhm.
refer, calling for help.
Mhm.
And I think it's also but I wouldn't say embarrassing. It wasn't embarrassing, but I was scared.
Yeah.
And maybe I was scared. I didn't know what to do, who to call, who was going to be the right person,
Mhm.
who wasn't going to judge.
Yes.
And
It's again that little piece of shame, right?
of
What
course,
are they gonna think of me as a mother that my daughter again and that it happened again under my watch? And it's like, but you can't watch them 24/7. And at some point,
like, I don't know what to do. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you had told me about your cause, I was immediately wanted to do something because I you make it very easy for us to be able to support and give back. So I appreciate that
Thank
you
you.
are involved with that because you make it, you make it available for those around you who want to participate in a way that
And give
makes a
them a
difference.
platform, a space.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I talked with my daughter this morning and I said, I'm going to be talking with Anita today and she's going to, want to talk about her uh,
Cause.
cause, her cause. And I said, "Can I talk a little bit about it?" And she says, "Absolutely not." Wait, and I was silent. She's like, "I'm just kidding, of course." Oh my gosh. I was like,
You're
"Okay,"
you're all,
because
"Uh-oh."
because we do talk about it.
Yes.
She's I'm gonna say an advocate in her own way.
Yeah.
So what she does, she stopped once, and this takes real
Courage.
courage. She saw somebody on the bridge. She saw somebody on the bridge and she stopped her car and pulled over and said, "I don't really know what's going on, but I want to let you know that, you know, you are loved and
Oh,
you are
God bless
important.
her.
And I'm going to ask that whatever you think you're doing, you just hold off. You just wait and you just know that you're cared for."
Mm, wow,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah. So I'm happy for her and
Yes.
she's doing much better. But
It's a
it's a
process.
process.
I didn't talk about it for 30 years. It takes a long time, and you're even trying to figure out why still sometimes,
And
and
we might not ever know,
mhm,
and that's why you join causes like this
mhm.
so that we can still have a positive impact on lives.
Yes.
It's really saving lives.
Yes, absolutely. You
And
wanna get them before they're even there, that at that moment, at that point, to wanna be on the bridge.
yes, and it's important that we show love and care. That goes into just like humanity. Humanity. You know what I do
What?
now? I say good morning and hello to everybody I pass by because it could be the one person that needs to be acknowledged.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so funny because we were taking a walk yesterday, and I smiled at a lady, and then she smiled back, but I looked at my girlfriend, I'm like, "Really say hello." I don't know why I didn't say hello, but it bothered me. So then the next person I was all, "Hello."
Hello. Wait,
Yeah.
isn't it funny though? For me, what I've noticed is our society, they get weirded out when you
Mm.
say hello and you smile.
It's yeah, like, kinda awkward,
Yeah.
and then or they're
Why are you
caught off
saying
yeah, or they're caught off guard, and then they're like, "Oh, hi."
mhm,
They get
mhm.
excited that, you acknowledged them, but I even do that with, like, the homeless, because who doesn't wanna be acknowledged? Or I try, I mean, I'm not perfect, but I do try.
And I can go even further, homeless are people too, of course.
Mhm.
My father was homeless for most of his life. And
Oh, Melinda.
the real homeless, like the cardboard box pushing the cart, and I used to have to go, not have to, I chose to go see him and feed him
Wow.
and
Wow.
get him a room so he can bathe. So I know
Mm,
I've been, I have that close to me a lot,
yes.
my daughter, my father, and
Yes, a lot of turmoil. Yeah, it's really interesting to me. It's like for me, right? Now I'm doing this and I want to, but a lot of trials. A lot of trials brought us here. It wasn't just by chance. We didn't just wake up wanting to serve the world and change the world, right? As some
no, no,
people
I
may
got
think.
goosebumps, I get
Yeah.
goosebumps, and I, you're right, and at the time, though, it's tough, it's
Oh,
hard,
yes.
and I don't think now I can tell when trials are coming, but
Yes.
back then, it was kind of a way of life. I'm like, "Oh," it was a dramatic life, and I say traumatic life too, however, it was kind of that was my life.
Do you realize I've been doing a lot of work in that regard right now, and self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And living in survival mode. And when you're living in survival mode, you're just used to the trauma and you're living in survival mode. So even if you don't have the trauma, you create it
Create it.
eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I said, I wanted to bring them here for help right today. And I wanted you to give them some tips and tools on things that you've done to, find peace in your heart, and I know you've done coaching and I know you've done classes. And before we start with, what they can do, why don't you give them a bit of information on what you've done? And I like to say how much you think you've spent on yourself and your self improvement.
Sure.
because I think it's important for people to know that we do spend money on ourselves. Like, we're not just this way. Like, it
It
takes
just
money.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, it takes money. It takes, help sometimes, and it's worth it if.
It is, it
Mhm.
is. So, I'll just a little bit of my
Mhm.
story, and I've told you a little bit about my dad, and I loved my dad
Yes.
unconditionally. He was in and out of course, our lives, the street, prison,
Yeah.
it was just the life that he chose to lead, and it was tough. It was tough, and then being a child, I ha
Yeah.
I created all of these.
You picked men that
Oh,
yeah, that
so, yes. And so that, amongst many other things that
Mhm.
happen, I'm sure, as a child, what we do is we have these beliefs about ourselves. So we have our 95% of our belief system is established by the time we're 18. 50 to 60% is established by the time we're 5 years old.
Yeah,
And we
it's
don't,
insane.
right? So it's like, we don't even know that we are being programmed, which is what happens. So I've been working on myself for probably 15 years. And to explain what that means is I go to classes, right?
Mhm.
I go to seminars. I actually do the work.
Mhm.
I peel back layers, and it's a lot of money. It's not, free, and it's worth every penny. So I've probably spent, I don't know, $100,000. I go to the advanced levels on every course that I take. I continually look for ways to discover and develop because it's a lifelong journey.
A lifelong journey. It never
It
ends.
never
Yeah.
ends. Once you get to a certain point, for me,
Mhm.
and I think probably you too, like money's not the issue
No,
because we know
it's
how
energy.
important it is. The last class I did, it's an annual seminar with
Mhm.
this course that I take. They had this brand new course, and I said, I didn't even ask how much it was. I just put the credit card down. Mind you, 15 years ago, it would have probably been like, oh my gosh, what is it? And now
Yes.
I just know how valuable the work is and how worthy I am.
Yes.
Now, it didn't start that way. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I came from, if you could imagine, my mom was married a few times and divorced and boyfriends, relationships, failed relationships.
Mhm.
And when they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, it doesn't because how am I going to get programmed? I get programmed by what I see. So for the majority of my life, until I started working on myself, I was always in abusive relationships. That was normal. I thought every relationship was like that.
Yeah.
That's all I saw.
You only know what you know.
I only know what I
Mhm.
know. So what the most important thing I can say now is to be aware that these
Patterns.
patterns, and somebody had to, it was a realtor actually, he was a friend of mine 15 years ago, maybe longer, and looked at me and he said, Melinda, that is not normal. And I said, whatever, right? I said, of course it is. You mean not everybody gets drunk? Not everybody throws stuff across the room? Not everybody jumps out of moving cars, or cries to work every day?
Oh,
And I
wow.
said, everyone argues. And he says, no, they
Not like
don't. Not like that. And it took me a few years to still really get that. And it wasn't until I started working on myself. And it wasn't like working on relationships. It was working on myself. Why was I attracting those type of men in relationships? Why did I stay? And it was all the time. Why did I self-sabotage when I was dating somebody, a good guy?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it wasn't normal. It's so funny. I did the same thing, but mine was opposite though, right? So I'm saying it because people could be watching you and saying, "Oh, I had a great childhood. I had a great childhood too, till I was 18. Then my dad cheated on my mom. So then everything I knew was upside down. So then all men were cheaters. So I
Oh,
found them all.
yes.
I found all
Yes.
those cheaters and dated them. Yes.
Absolutely. And mine was all men leave.
Mhm.
All men leave. My dad was out, the other stepdads were gone. And as a child, it's like, I'm not worthy, and all men leave.
And it's the words we speak, right? Our words become our life.
Our thoughts, our words,
Mhm.
absolutely. Starting with the tip, you know, we say to think is to create. And it's so true. And that sometimes it sounds like seminar jargon, to think is
Mhm.
to create, because that's where I learned it from,
Yes,
right?
yes.
One of the seminars. But basically, what that means is we are designed, whatever we think will happen.
Yeah.
So, in order to change your life, transform your life, change your thinking.
Yes.
Even if you don't believe it, even if you don't believe what you're thinking, think it anyway.
Yep.
It's our minds are like the genie, right?
Yes.
What your wish is my command.
And it's so true.
Your
I'm
wish is
not
my
kidding.
command. All men cheat. All right, here
Yep.
you go. You're
Mhm.
gonna meet all the men that cheat.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it's insane how we don't even realize it's happening. I'm not kidding. I just started writing down, I'm going to sell this property. I'm a multimillionaire. I got 3 calls within literally that day. Like the first, and
it
Joe Dispenza
works.
says, and he's like, you don't believe it works because if you did, you'd do it every freaking morning. And
That's
when I do it, it works. And then for some reason, we stop. And I don't understand why I stop. It could still be the self sabotage, right?
well,
Who
the
knows?
good news is these programs of self-sabotage, you notice it though.
Yes.
Before we wouldn't notice,
Yes,
and
true.
it takes time to notice it and the longer or the more work I've done, I notice it, but that less attention I give it. Therefore, I'm back to where I'm going, where I'm
Yeah.
headed. I'm leading my own life in my own direction, and I'm not listening to that self-sabotage voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just really quick so they know,
Sure.
Melinda, owns her own business. She has several employees. She's purchased her own commercial building. So she's making moves, and so she's not just somebody saying how you can do it who hasn't done it. She's actually done the work and she's changed her life. And oh yeah, she does have a hot little studly husband.
I do. I do have a hot young husband. And that was my doing.
Yeah.
That was my doing
Right.
because I worked on myself and it's, and it's not just, oh, I'm worthy, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can say it, keep saying it. So yes, keep
Mm-hmm.
saying that you are worthy, but it's doing the work. It's it's finding proof of how worthy you are. It's changing those programs.
And challenging yourself to prove that you are, you're
Yes.
ready, right?
Yes.
And little challenges, right, Melinda? Like give them something that they can start with to just kind of start reprogramming their mind.
Depending on what the program is. But one thing that I'm going to say, the first thing, and it kind of seems like a tangent, but it all goes
Mm-hmm.
together, is to work on your word. Work on your promise and your word to yourself. Normally, we'll keep our word to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
However, if we break it with ourselves, that is still not being in alignment. And then we go, I'm always late. And then what? You're always late.
Mm-hmm.
So, or
I'm such a procrastinator. That's mine.
I'm such a procrastinator. And then you're going to continue
Yeah.
procrastinating.
Yeah.
So, one thing that you can take right now is be mindful of when you give your word and what you give your word to, and to not beat yourself up. Because if we're going to continue these programs, which we all normally do, a small shift is noticing, it's an awareness, noticing when you're beating yourself up.
Because they do say that we have like 90,000 thoughts a day and about 60,000 of them, 60% of them are repetitive. Same thing we said yesterday. So if we're always beating ourselves up, then most likely tomorrow we're going to wake up beating ourselves up too, right?
Yes. And something like this is to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step. Be aware. You're going to hear yourself and you're going to be like, that's what they were talking about. Or, you know what? I'm not a morning person.
And
Who has
start,
said that before?
yes, and start writing them down, right? I think that'd be a good idea too. I need to start doing that. I've never done that. But write down the negative thoughts you catch saying to yourself, and then we can start seeing how many times we say the same thing, every for a week. We
Yes,
do that.
and we wonder why we keep doing the same things because we're keep telling ourselves that's who we are, that's how we are. And another thing is to, once you catch it, switch it. And again, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. I'm not a morning person. Wait a minute. I'm a morning person. Even if you're dragging yourself out of bed, just continue saying, I'm a morning person. I'm a
Mhm.
morning
I
person.
love
I love
mornings.
mornings. And guess what?
You're gonna start to love mornings.
You're going to start loving mornings. You're going to start waking up before your alarm, but you have to do it.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that
happen.
happened to me.
I believe
I
it.
am not kidding. I started praying. I was not a morning person. I started praying. I want to be more. Lord, please let me be more. I wake up like at 5, and then I stopped waking up early, and I was like, okay, I'm getting like what's happening. I'm getting a little lazy. Like, okay, Lord, come on, please. I want to be up at 5 again. I don't set my alarm. I was up at 4:44. At
Yes,
angel numbers
yes,
too.
right?
I was like, okay, I see you.
Yes, it could happen. You know what I used to pray for? for those of you who don't go to the gym, oh my gosh, I loathe the gym.
Yeah.
I hated the gym. And I used to pray, God, please let me be one of those people that want to go to the gym, one of those people that are excited to go to the gym. Because right now I couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
And there you go. I'm at the gym every single day and I
What,
love
3,
it.
4? You're
I'm
like
a
there in
girly
a
girl.
crazy
Yes,
time.
yes. And I feel great.
Yeah.
And it's not a challenge anymore because we started doing it. So it's not overnight, definitely possible. And just one, we say progress is happiness, just
Mhm.
one step forward
Well,
in the
but
direction
because
that you want to go.
it builds our self-esteem. Like, every time we keep
Yes.
our word to ourselves, and I'm literally living it right now
Yes.
because it's so true, and I've done it, right? You do it, you fall off, but I've also learned to forgive myself
Oh,
and
that's
just
huge.
do it again, right? The tomorrow's a new day. It's like, what am I gonna do better tomorrow? And
What I learned recently, and I practice this every day, and you probably do too, is I learned this in my class. It said, commitment is a renewable resource. And at first, I'm like, what? It took me a long
yeah.
I didn't really pay any mind. I'm like, what does that even mean? And basically, you can recommit every day. And
Yes.
then I'm human, and I said, well, if I'm recommitting every day, when am I going to get it? It's going to sink in.
Yeah.
It's going to sink in. If I keep recommitting to what I want to do every day, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You just never give up.
And it can start with simple things, like watering the plant in the front yard. I mean, but it's the just getting the being committed to yourself and your word.
It's your word. You had said keeping your word builds self esteem. Absolutely. What a lot of people don't know is not keeping your word breaks down your self esteem. It will chip away, and you don't know it, right?
Mhm.
Because it's a little chip.
Yes.
It's a little chip. And pretty soon you have all these little chips, and you're wondering why you kind of sit a little lower, walk a little slower. The pep in your step is gone. Yeah. And your self esteem, and that flows into all areas of your life. Absolutely.
So how would it flow into the other areas of your life, do you
Well, when you don't have, as much self-esteem, it goes into your relationships. And if you're, single or married, right? If you don't have the self-esteem about how you're feeling, physically feeling about yourself, sometimes we don't have that drive to actually eat healthy or go to the gym. And now you're in a spiral. You're in
Yes.
a spiral. So self-esteem is extremely important.
Like, I'm already overweight. Who cares
Who
if I have that
cares?
last piece
Who
of
cares?
cheesecake?
And to start on that is to keep your word on small
Yeah.
things and celebrate your small wins. You know what? I said I'm gonna get up without pressing snooze. I did it. I don't care about anything else during the day. If you got up without pressing snooze, celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate those small wins, and it feels good. Even
Yes.
if it kind of feels silly,
Yes.
it's okay. It's
Yes.
building your self-esteem.
Yes.
And forgive yourself. "Ugh, I said I wasn't gonna have that cheesecake." Now you start beating yourself up again. That does no good.
Yeah.
And I have a class, I have a course,
Mhm.
and I even do in my group, I do some, trainings.
Yeah.
And one of them in my coaching, there's a forgiveness. It's just a little script, and you forgive yourself.
Nice.
Yeah,
My
you-
coaching, they have me doing mirror work. So
yeah.
I have then she said that too, like, "You're gonna feel really silly." She's like, "But you need to look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself." And
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes.
it's a book, and but yeah, it is. It's true because some people, you wouldn't even believe it if they tried to look at themselves in the mirror and say they love themselves. It's difficult.
It's yes. Yeah. So there's this self-development stuff, right? It's really self-discovery,
Yeah.
right? You discover about yourself and how you grow. We all have room to grow. And this self-discovery is not just for broken people. Sometimes they're like, I'm not broken. I was raised with great parents. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
However, we were designed to grow.
Yep.
And there's always a next level.
And there's always something.
There's
Something
always
you're always
something.
having a breakthrough. And honestly, the classes and courses I've done, sometimes I don't get anything out of it, but then I have a breakthrough later and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
That's
that's
yes,
it." And
yes,
that's why you do it. It's
yes.
because you need to be aware that these things exist in order to spot them in the future. Otherwise, you're always going to be just going on autopilot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and your navigation could be way off. We've all had bad navigation.
You said the one key thing I think is first is awareness.
Mhm.
There was the tip that we gave is keep your word, work on your word, but the awareness, if you don't know that you're breaking your word or you're not paying attention or what your thoughts are, oh my gosh, you have to be aware of what you're thinking.
Yes, it's huge.
It's huge. It's huge.
Especially because I know you are, I am, but I catch myself beating myself up all the time
Oh,
still. And it's
and
like
you
I
still done
have
all the work.
yes, yes. And it's funny. And I talk about Joe Dispenza all the time because he's amazing. And he's like, look, your subconscious is like a bad dog. And he's like, it's gonna come
It's
in.
after you.
Yeah, it's gonna come in and you have to just put it back in check because our bodies know, like they crave that drama that we were used to if we don't.
Absolutely. So our subconscious, right? The 95% of how you think about yourself and the world, the one what I said by the time you're 18, we are designed to make ourselves right. Not the conscious mind.
Uh,
What's only 5% of the
yes.
conscious. Everything else is autopilot and auto belief. And we need to question, where did that belief come from?
Yeah.
Why do I believe that way? And we are physically designed to make ourselves right. So when I thought all men leave, of course I can go into a room with 99 successful, committed, loving men, and I'm gonna find the bad boy. And when you hear when women say, "Oh, I'm attracted to bad boys,"
Yes.
well, you know why?
Because they are.
Well, yes, but most women don't know this. It
Yeah.
has to do with us.
Yes.
It's we're not worthy of these good guys. But who wants to say that? Who wants to say
Or
that?
they don't even know it.
Well, they don't know it.
Yeah.
Oh, my whole life I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Why am I constantly getting these bad boys?
And then we're
What?
the victim.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do I always attract these bad boys? Or why are the bad boys attractive? Why do I find them exotic? Well, it's because it's fitting what we really believe
Yeah.
about men.
They confirm.
They
They confirm
confirm that
your thoughts.
all men leave, all men cheat. And that's just mine. That's where I came from.
Mhm.
But we have so many other limiting
Oh, yeah.
beliefs. My
Money doesn't grow on
worthiness.
trees.
Oh yes, I just did something on that
Did
yesterday.
you? Yeah.
The money we don't even know that we're programmed about money. Why can't I get a break? Why am I still making whatever you're making? Well, as we were younger, we hear these sayings. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root.
Of all evil.
So we don't think that we believe it, but it came from somewhere.
Yes.
So internally, it's like, okay, if we have money,
We're gonna be evil.
we're gonna be evil. You know what mine was? I just did something on my live yesterday, and it was about my dad, really, really short, about money.
Mm.
And my dad made really good money. My mom told me when he was 16. He did like carpentry, but for a 16-year-old, he made really good money.
Yeah.
17, 18. And by the time he was 16, he was hooked on heroin. So what does money cause? Drug abuse,
Oh.
broken home,
Oh.
divorce, no parent for me. And it took a little while for me to learn that. I didn't know. Somebody had to, again,
Mhm.
doing the work.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, mind blown. And once I became aware that that was something I believed about money, I was able to change that belief. And now,
Yeah,
now
I
I'm
got
doing
money.
great.
I'm good
I got
with money.
money.
Well, that's why it's funny because I'm like, they said, you're a millionaire. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm $1 million gets you nothing these days. I'm on. It's only two makes me a multimillionaire. So yeah,
Yes.
I love it. I
Yeah.
do. So what else? Oh, I lost my train of thought thinking about that. But I do think it's really important that young girls know that, childhood trauma. That's what I wanted to get at. I really need people to know that that's not just a term, that exists, and we really need to look at our childhood trauma because it does sink into our adulthood
100%.
immensely.
We are sponges. We are sponges when we're kids. And I'm going to say if somebody doesn't, if we don't want to say trauma,
Yeah.
how about drama?
Yeah. Yes.
Same,
Mhm.
same thing.
Yes.
Because trauma can sound like, well, I never had
So
severe.
traumatic,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
yes. But
Yeah. Like you were beaten. Like we're not.
Yeah,
Yes. Any trauma is drama. Exactly.
promise drama.
Fighting parents. Yes. Even
Yes.
siblings, because their siblings could have screwed us up too.
We are designed, the way we came about all of our belief
Mm-hmm.
system is everyone we were around.
Yes.
Teachers,
Family. Yep.
kids, elementary school, family, caretakers,
Friends.
friends,
Coaches.
parents, all of these people that were in our lives is how we became who we are. But what I'll just use the word, what sucks about it is we didn't have a choice.
Right.
So now it's important to become aware that you now have a choice. You're an adult now.
Yes.
What do? You start developing. You go to courses and classes. You
Yeah, and I just do want to also say, like, yes, you can pay for it, and yes, it can be costly, but you can also find these courses and classes and information on YouTube. You know,
I do free lives in my
yes,
group. I do
and
free
she does.
trainings.
What's your group,
Be the
Melinda?
woman you're meant to be
And they can find that where?
on Facebook and Instagram.
Both.
Hmm.
It just at Be the Woman You're Meant to Be. I think
Correct.
it's up on the deal too.
Yeah. So
Solomon put it up
I
there.
do free trainings on there.
See, free.
Free. Yeah, yeah. I also have a live event, very affordable.
Okay, yeah.
I make it affordable so that everyone can go.
Yes. So
So
you do have an event coming up
I
on
do
the
have an
19th, I
event.
believe?
I do August 19th. It's in person. It's going to be in Whittier, California.
Good.
Yes.
Close.
Yeah. And I have an early bird special.
What is it?
So the class is $97.
Okay,
Early
very
bird,
reasonable.
very reasonable. For someone who spent about $100,000,
Yes,
and I
yes.
continue to spend. Yes, it's very reasonable. And I give everything that I have, right? As much as I can pack
Yes.
into one day.
Yeah.
And the early bird special, I only have 30 spots for early bird. It's $30 off. I mean,
Wow, that's great. And I mean, come on.
come
Like
on.
you said, $100,000 in training, and now you're willing to give it for $97. And it's because we want to make a difference.
We
you
want to
know?
make a difference. And the you know what? The training starts when somebody signs up because a lot of women will pay $97 for dinner. They'll pay
Oh,
$97
yeah.
for someone else,
Mhm.
but to pay $97 for themselves, oh
Mhm.
no. Right? They don't even know that they have this unworthiness.
Mhm.
So that's where the training even begins. When you first sign up and you actually pay
Oh, yeah.
$97, you're worth $97.
Worth
Yeah.
$97. I won't tell you what I just paid my coach,
Yes,
but and
yes.
of course it was. It was like, ugh. And then it was like, you know what, Anita, what the hell? All you have to do is sell a freaking house. Go sell a house. Get over it. You
Yeah.
know, here's the freaking check. Get over your shit and move on. Like let's
Yep.
get this going. Like because you do want to speed up the process. I don't want to have to read all the books. I don't want to have. I mean, I've done enough on my own. I still do it on my own, but I want to hear from somebody else because we can only teach ourselves and comprehend the information as much as we can comprehend it, as much as we know, right?
Yes, sometimes when we can go and hear it from somebody else, we hear it a different way.
Mhm.
And it's like, "Oh, I heard it, but now I'm really hearing it."
Yes.
Yeah, and because when somebody else says it in a way that maybe it's more relatable, the same thing, it gets embedded even more.
Well, and the best part I've found by joining classes and coaching, it's a community. So you don't just get like that 1 hour training or the 2 hour training. You get a family. Like you get a family who's
So
in
big.
it with you and challenging you and wanting to help you grow, right?
That is so big. When you've heard the saying, well, I know our parents used to say, "Show me your friends, I'll show you who you are."
Yeah, birds of a feather.
Feathers flock together. It is true.
You
It
hate to
is
hear it when your
true.
friends are bad. That's bullshit. That's not true.
If we're one of those friends.
You're one of those friends. It's like, uh-oh.
Oh my gosh, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Show me who you hang out with, right? And you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, where do I find people that want to grow? Where do I find people that actually want to be different,
Yeah.
transform? Because sometimes our family, if they're not on the growth train,
No.
and we tell them our ambitions and our
Period.
goals, what they do is they can shoot you down
Oh,
because it's
quick.
their limiting beliefs.
Absolutely.
They're projecting.
Yep.
And we can get hurt, right? Our family hurts us the most.
Or discouraged.
Discouraged. And I'm not referring to my family. So if
Yeah.
my family's watching,
You're good, you're
you're
good.
good family. And that's because my whole family does growth and development.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
However, I do know that family can pierce the most. So
Yes.
let me get back to what we were saying is, so if you're looking for that community and like-minded women and people, go. Go
Yeah.
to my event, go to an event, go
Yeah.
to a course, but
Mhm.
I'm putting this on so you have somewhere to start.
Yes, and it's on
Somewhere to start.
Facebook, and it's easy to communicate on Facebook because
Yes.
most people are on there anytime, all the time, anyways. You know what I also love is like Facebook, Instagram. You control your feed. You have people doing negative stuff, you delete them. You start,
Unfriend
putting,
them.
yeah, putting more positive stuff, more courses, more positive people. That feed changes, your mindset changes.
You know what? That's exactly when we were talking about earlier, that be mindful of your thoughts. And where do we get our thoughts? Social media.
Mhm.
So we want to be mindful of what we're watching. Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
I watch everything that comes on my feed and I'm like, oh no, or in the podcast even.
Yes.
I don't waste my time, girl. I do not waste my
Yeah.
time anymore.
Well, we talked about fast forwarding our Audible books.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't care if you sound like a chipmunk as long as I get the gist of it. I'm good.
Wait, I thought that was genius. When I found out that I could put the playback speed,
Oh yeah, it's heaven.
I feel like I'm a genius with all these
Well, yeah,
books.
because you're sitting there and you're like, oh, it just feels like when you're moving a fast mover, then it
Yeah.
really feels slow. You're like, come on, man, I got another book in the queue.
Waiting for me to listen.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
let's talking about books.
Sure.
How many books would you say you read? Oh, let's say a month
Oh my.
or listen to. Would you
Yeah,
say?
listen to. I like to read some too.
Yeah.
I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about efficiency.
Mhm.
I read while I'm on the stepper.
Mm.
On the stepper and I listen when I'm in the car. So now maybe 4.
Yeah.
It's so easy
It's so
now,
doable,
though.
I
It's so
know.
because I'm just listening.
Yes.
I'm listening. And if you want to, like you said, I want to excel faster, right? If you want transformation and change to do faster, be more efficient with your time
Mhm.
and invest. But it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to spend 8 hours on a course every day,
Yeah.
but you can spend 1 hour, half an hour if you're exercising, listen to your AirPods
Mhm.
in the commute, right? And that's another way to invest in yourself for free.
Yeah, I'm doing Tony Robbins, a virtual event
I love
next
Tony
week.
Robbins.
Yes,
Yes.
him for 3 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was what, $65.
Yes.
$65. I mean, that's like you said, drinks, food. We
Oh, we'll
spend that
spend that
every
on
weekend.
lunch.
Yeah,
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 even
it's
on lunch.
gross,
I
I
mean,
know.
I know. Well,
Gross.
a couple people at
Yeah,
lunch. I mean,
yeah.
a few people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we do spend a lot of money on food.
Yes, and once I want you guys to realize it. Check what you're spending your money on, and is it investing in you? I
Right.
can tell you right now, 99% it is not investing in you. You deserve it, whether you believe it or not. You deserve to invest in you.
Yes, and the reality is that money is gonna get spent somewhere.
Yes.
It will get spent somewhere.
Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, yes, you do.
Yes.
Let your
Yeah.
friend call you up to go out this
Oh,
weekend.
yeah. Yeah.
You have
That
it.
money always
You have it.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean you have to stop partying, but invest in yourself so you can make more money.
Yeah, or get a when I was younger, I wanted to go to the theater. I love the theater. I wanted to take my son to see plays. I got a credit card to go to the theater. Get a credit card for some life coaching classes or
Yes.
some little
Yes.
a few small ones
I
even.
put all of my beginning coaching when I got coached and the
Mhm.
seminars I went to were always on credit cards. Yeah.
And use your points.
Use your points.
Yes, I just found out about points. I'm 52 people. I just found out about point. Like I knew I had points. I just didn't know
Uh-huh.
what to do with them. And then I started hanging out with my girlfriend. She's going on trips and she's using her points all the time. Okay, so if you could give anyone advice, just a life advice, what would you moving forward in their life, like the
Yes.
easiest thing they could do to see a change or to build confidence?
Yes, I was gonna say I don't know if it's the easiest, but
Yes.
I think it's the most powerful is you hit on it is forgiving yourself. Because I was in such a like, I wanna cry right now.
Oh, that's okay.
Um, I used to I felt so guilty for whatever I did, for the way I raised my kids, for the way I was to whoever it was, and I
Yeah.
felt so guilty. And I felt so bad that it kept me in that space.
Yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
cave.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then around people who kinda just reminded me of the crap I did, and and I had to forgive myself, and that was it's weird, one of the hardest yet easiest. It's
Yeah.
really weird. It's hard and easy at the same time. So for a if I can say is to forgive yourself.
Oh, I love that, Melinda, because it's so true. We could keep ourselves in that hole and we don't even realize it. And I'm, being a parent, right? But guess what? You always have a chance. Her kids are freaking amazing. They're amazing. My son's 30 and we're working together on being better because, like you said, it's a freaking reflection, man. It's really scary
Yes.
that they're like
Yeah.
us. But as we heal, they heal.
And we can only heal when we forgive ourselves.
Hmm.
And we're showing that example to them. And yes, I was not the best parent. I'll tell you that right now. I was young, I partied, and I know I'm not alone in this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I forgave myself and and I kept forgiving myself.
Yes.
And I asked God for forgiveness. That
Yes.
was the biggest one. And when somebody wanted to remind me of who I used to be, because you'll get that.
Yeah.
You'll get that.
Why do you think you get that?
You're leaving them behind. You're leaving them behind, and they don't want you to leave them behind. So that you when I want to better myself, when you want to better yourself, you'll have people tugging at you and say, "That's not you. You're the girl who used to dance in the
Oh, I
bar.
had it, girl.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
you're the girl who has multiple failed relationships. You're that girl." And I'm like, wait a minute. So you'll have people dragging you down, and
Because they don't wanna look at themselves.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, and they don't want, you to they think that you're gonna be better than them,
Mhm.
and you're gonna leave them, and you most likely are unless they're gonna come with you.
Mhm.
I asked God for forgiveness, and then I had to remind myself, and I think this is important. I had to remind myself that if God Almighty
Mhm.
forgives me instantly, who am I not to forgive myself?
Yeah.
He already did.
Yeah.
Am I bigger than him to where I'm like, no, no, Melinda, he doesn't know better. He does know better.
Mhm.
He knows
He
better.
knows
He knows
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So if he forgave me, I'm going to forgive myself. That's what he wants for us.
Yes.
I had to tell somebody that. Wait a minute. God already forgave me for this. I forgave me for this. I don't need you to remind me
Yeah,
of,
man, he broke those
yes,
chains.
girl. Yes, yes. So you want some brain,
Some brain changing food.
some chain breaking transformation.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
like that.
Do, come to my event. I prayed to God. I did the work and
So how
take
do
the
they
step. Take the step.
Yeah, so how do they register for your event?
There'll be a link in the comments or the bio. Join the group, be the woman you're meant to be, and just sign up,
And they can
enroll.
sign up on Facebook and
They
Instagram?
can. So I'll have a link. I have my links all over.
Okay, do you have a link tree?
A very good question. I'll
Okay,
have to
I'm gonna
ask.
I'm gonna make sure you have one
Okay.
after,
Thank
and you're gonna
you.
love it.
So yes, I'm gonna get a link tree.
So she could have all her links in one place.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm growing already.
Yeah, see,
Growing
girl?
already.
That's what
Yes.
we're here for. See what I mean, though? Collaboration, hanging out with people who are like-minded, who wanna see everybody win. Like, that's
Yes.
what you get in those types of environments.
Yes. That is exactly what you
Mhm.
get. People
Yes.
who want to see you grow, to see you win.
Yes.
People who want to see you win and who, the energy. When you
Yeah.
get around 100 ladies that want to grow and understand what you're going through, and you have leaders there,
Who've
to
been through maybe
who
what you've been through.
for sure,
Yes, no
for sure,
shame in
who
your
get it.
game, as they say. Yeah.
Women who get it,
Yep.
right? Who
And
get it.
life moves on. What's done is
Yes.
done, but there's always tomorrow to be better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So go on Melinda's
Go
Facebook,
on my Facebook. Join my group.
join her group. Anything else you want to say? Like any last, I don't want to say last words,
I
but
know.
anything you want to leave the audience with?
I want to encourage again, if it's come to my event, but if it's not my event, go to the page. Just start working on yourself. There's always room to grow and know that you're not alone and that I genuinely know and believe that you are worthy and deserving of all that you want.
And participate.
Participate.
Participate in your own life.
Participate in your,
Yes.
oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's great
Yeah.
stuff. She got some great stuff. But
But they can start by participating just by joining her Facebook group, commenting, reading
yes,
the comments. It's kind of easy to just watch, but as soon as you start participating, your mind just kind of shifts. It's like the most incredible thing.
yes, and they say you want something different, you have to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it's that small, join the group, comment.
Because the best way to be, what do they say? Just keep doing the same thing.
Oh, insanity?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, the
The
definition. One
definition
of
of
the definitions
insanity,
of
yeah.
insanity. Yeah, doing the same thing,
Ex
thinking you're going to
A
get a
different
different
outcome.
result. Yes,
Yeah, well, that's not
that's
happening.
not happening.
So, today, you're gonna join a group, you're gonna participate, and you're gonna take the first step in your life transformation.
Yes,
Yeah. Do
yes.
you have any books you'd like to recommend?
So the book that stands out all the time is The Four Agreements.
Ah,
It's an
it's a
easy
great book.
read. I've probably read it 30 times. It's an
Mhm.
easy listen to,
Yeah.
and it is very profound. And for me, it was easy to relate and understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So all of this, like seminar stuff and all these
Yeah.
books can be complicated.
Yes.
However, the Four Agreements, I would recommend that for everyone.
You know what I do too? I pay for a YouTube and I listen to it while I sleep. Books, the
Yeah.
good old books from like the 18 How to Manifest. Manifesting's real, people write it down.
Yes, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, podcast.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Maybe next time. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. I've just loved having you, Melinda. We're in Toastmasters together. That's why we're such great speakers. Just kidding. Give ourselves a plug in
That's
our
right. That's
Toastmasters
right.
in case you want to join, DM me. But yeah, it's been amazing. And I love the tips that you gave and just our natural conversation. As always, I knew it would be easy to have this interview
Yes.
with you. And
I appreciate you allowing me to be here. Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Melinda to start her own podcast now. We'll see what happens. But all right, guys, subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff to help us, just grow the channel and
Spread the
spread
word.
the
Yeah.
word, and that it's easy to, start transforming your life one day at a time,
Absolutely.
one heart at a time.
And we're here for you.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DM us anytime.
Yes.
Anytime. All right.
All right.
Bye.